All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Happy 4th of July. Let me know how I sound in chat. Just looking. Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on the report of the body part being found. I'm assuming that's probably not related, but always good to keep an eye on that. You never know. But I don't think it's Sebastian, in my opinion. But again, we may never know. Yeah, I want this boy found. So today's live. Again, this case has gone sadly cold and quiet. But I know a lot of people have asked me to, do a live show, and I figured what better day, 4th of July. And there's a couple of things I'll share with you guys. Yeah, Sebastian, Summer, Lily, and Jack. I know. All those cases are just absolutely wild. The Lily and Jack thing, I think, is just getting so out of hand that it's like I get a headache just even trying to keep up with that case because you have no idea who's telling the truth. I think both parents are hiding something in that case. Clearly, Daniel lied. To some degree, but again, who knows? I think they'll probably find answers, but God, it's just such a vast area that they went missing. It's terrible. All right, guys, I need to turn up my AC, so we'll play the intro video real quick and then get into today's show. Let's pull this up here. All right, guys, give me 1 second. I want to go full screen real quick so I can turn up my AC. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, where we cover true crime, mystery to the missing video. Just to recap, Sebastian Rogers, who at the time was a 15-year-old autistic teenager. He sadly went missing between the night of the 25th and the morning of 26th of February of 2024. It's now been over a year and still no trace of Sebastian Rogers. Now, if you're not familiar with this case, I would encourage you to check out the 2 videos in this series. The link to those are down in the description below. Not long after Sebastian Rogers' disappearance, a local reporter, Nick Bears, would release a short video showing lights moving in the background near the Proudfeets home the same night Sebastian Rogers disappeared. Here. Okay, alright, got the AC going, thank God. Alright, it's getting a little hot in here. Alright, so I put together a little thing here. What do you guys say? Do you guys want snarky Chris tonight? It's 4th of July. I don't get snarky very often, but this case just frustrates the hell out of me. And because I've been involved in a few searches and worked with the family members that, had missing children, teenagers, and what they've gone through, up until the point they found, either their child or they're still actively searching. And then we have these two up here that just, every time I see their face, it just disgusts me so bad. All right, snarky. All right, good, because I have not covered this case in so long. I can't remember the last time I've covered it. But let's just go over the basic principles, common sense, right? Let's just go right into the common sense theme, right? Who is actually searching right now? I just got done. Well, it's, been at, let's see, what's today? July 4th. It's July 4th.
as some of you know that's been with me a long time, Aiden Clune, I've been helping with his mother. This is the first year I was not able to go out there because my stomach was just torn up. And again, that just frustrated me even more because, again, I've been there every time they've been out there searching, and I couldn't help this year. And it really stings even more because last year we found his shoes, and it was like, oh my God, we may actually, a case that, I've been involved in physically, that's all I've wanted to do on this channel. Even if if I had this channel for, 20 more years, and if it's just one case that we helped, be a part of that helped, bring resolution to a case, I'd die happy. Even if it's just one case, at least one family, gets to, bring their child home and get answers. That's all this channel's ever been about. So anyway, back to this. So who's searching? Because I know a case that's 3 years old. 3 years old. A mother just, again, she's not even in the same state that the child went missing, or her teenager, Aiden Clune, went missing. She's in California while he went missing in, more or less, even though it's Nevada, it's really on the border close to Utah, so it's almost like she's going 2 states over, even though I know it's just right next to each other, but really it's like on the border, on the east part of Nevada. So really she almost has to go 2 states to get to, to search. So anyway, that's why it gets me so frustrated, because I've seen the mothers, again, with Amy Clune and with Candace Cooley with the Dylan Rounds case, and oh my God, those mothers are determined, and I do not see shit from this lady right here. It disgusts me so bad. And then these people, anyway, all right, like I said, you can get snarky. Thank you, Jules. Great to see you. God bless, and thank you. Thank you to everybody. All right, let's just go over the common sense stuff, and then I do have some other things we'll touch on, and then if you guys want me to cover something or look at something, I will. There is something that At Night put out. Again, when At Night first came out, I was really like 50-50 on them. Like, are they legit? Are they really connected with a dog? Again, because I have contacts, right? And I've obviously, and I know some of the people that work on Dog's team. I've been in contact with them, so I know they are legit. So let's move on. So who's actually searching, right? Because again, they've up until the 1 year anniversary, they've always claimed, oh, he went running off, right? So again, and then of course, with all the how can you only think of one scenario and not with the family, with the mothers that I worked with / family in the 2 cases. Oh my God, every time I talked with them before, especially with Candace Cooley, there was always new theories. Every time I talked to her, there was something new that, she trying to, make sense of, right? And always entertaining all different possibilities. But again, it took them a year, because obviously they're like, oh God, this probably doesn't look good that we're just saying that he ran off and not, like a third party abduction, right? Oh, thank you, Celine, for that update. Yeah, that's terrible. Again, I'd heard something about, was it the Guadalupe River or something like that? It got flooded. Yeah, it's terrible.
It has been.
Okay, so this came out, about a month ago, maybe less. This is what an actual parent that's worried about their child and wants answers, this is what an actual parent does.
453 days since now 16-year-old Sebastian Rogers vanished from his home in Hendersonville. His disappearance sparked national headlines, but now his father says the case is losing momentum. With National Missing Children's Day coming up on Sunday, he is raising his voice and demanding urgency. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry is outside the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, where Sebastian's father made an emotional plea today. Caitlin.
Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers, was deeply frustrated when he spoke with me. He fears the case is going cold.
My son's been missing for 15 months.
Just look at him, and there's a part at the end of this that I'll replay again, because you can hear it in his voice. You can hear the passion. I mean, look at his face. He is desperate. That is a parent that cares. That is a parent that is actively trying to do something and is pissed off.
And they don't care.
Sebastian disappeared in February last year. He was just 15 years old. Initial search efforts involved local police, the TBI, and the FBI. But those physical searches have since shifted to focus on the investigative side. The last press conference on the case was more than a year ago.
I would love to see them actually conducting more searches. I'd like to have some communication on the tips that have come in just with me, so that I know that when a tip comes in, I'm not following up on what job they're supposed to do.
So I think part of that, why he's saying that, is because, again, people have lost faith in, Sumner County. And so, and with At Night, so, they'll get tips that are sent in to maybe At Dog's team, and and then it'll be probably shared with Seth as well. And of course, they go to Sumner County as well. Of course, they go to all, a bunch of agencies. But, a lot of tips do come in, and they get all, it'll come into Doc's team, and then they look at it. And then, of course, they'll send what they have, to, Sumner County, TBI, FBI, whatever. But yeah.
Says only one detective is actively assigned to the case, and that he is often left to chase down the same leads, also sent to law enforcement.
We need more than just one set of eyes on this case, but it all falls on my shoulders to ask people to help find my son. My son means something to me. These people should be doing their job.
In his push for progress, Seth says he's reached out to lawmakers and is even drafting federal legislation aimed at reforming how child protection agencies and the Amber Alert system handle missing children's cases.
It's a federal oversight law on places like CPS, DCS, the Amber Alert, getting it redone and taking it out of people's hands that don't care about the children.
According to the FBI, an estimated 460,000 children are reported missing in the U.S. every year. Seth says every one of those cases deserves attention, including Sebastian's.
A parent demands answers. We demand answers because our heart is missing. He's
in the U.S.
Listen to his voice. Again, anybody that thinks Seth had something to do with this, I'm sorry, but you're going to get snarky, Chris. You're effing idiot. And we're going to cover, the common sense. But my God, these people on the other side, I'm sorry, again, at this point, I don't even care about the other side. Idiots.
Every year.
Disgusting.
Seth says every one of those cases deserves attention, including Sebastian's.
A parent demands answers.
Listen to that voice. That is so genuine and real. I mean, it almost makes me want to cry just hearing him say that. I mean, I'm literally getting emotional right now. It just fucking pisses me off. This guy has no... And we're going to go over, just after we go over this interview, we'll go over the common sense out of the two factions here. And it's pretty simple who would have a motive and who would... again, we'll go over it. But one more time, listen, again, I don't know, this is going to make me cry because you can hear his voice crack and it just is so fucking frustrating.
Including Sebastian's.
A parent demands answers. We demand answers because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him. I need him back with me.
We reached out to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office for a statement. They assured us this case remains a top priority and said in part, please know that behind the scenes a tremendous amount of work has been done and will continue. Some aspects of the investigation are not visible to the public due to this.
So I found this interesting. This is a very interesting statement that they sent to him. Because this is kind of what I've heard behind the scenes. Again, I've lost faith in Sumner County because clearly they screwed up holy royally in the beginning. God, they screwed up so bad. It's like, you idiots. You idiots. You guys didn't take their phones until 2 weeks later? Oh my God. You guys, this is going to, like, seriously, John Benet Ramsey, in this case, should go down as a case they, like, future detectives, departments look at and go, God, we better not ever do this shit again, because holy hell, we could solve a lot more cases if we look at all fucking angles in the beginning instead of just being an idiot. Let's go look at the father who's clearly been at work, that has an actual alibi, who's caught on camera, yet the other side who has a motive, and you really don't have an alibi, again, unless they pulled their phone records. But again, we'll get into that scenario as well. Like, he's on camera, he's at work, like, oh my God, you idiots. Sorry, but not really.
Sensitive nature of the
My
case.
God.
Sebastian's family continues to ask for the community's help. If you know anything about Sebastian's whereabouts, you're asked to call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office or the TBI. Those numbers can be found on our website at WKRN.com. Live in Gallatin.
But I promise, this case will, the people responsible, God, and I know one of them are probably watching, or one of their goons. I guarantee you, Seth will never, ever be charged with anything in this case. I'll make that guarantee right now. And certain parties, this case, again, there's no such thing as a perfect crime. And I guarantee you, just with that statement, it does give me a little bit of hope. I did want to just read this out. So please know that we're behind the scenes. A tremendous amount of work has been done. Now, again, some may think, yeah, it's BS, and I'm 50-50 on it, but I do think there has been stuff. I think they knew that they screwed up royally, and that's why they've just been completely silent, because they're like, shit, we dropped the ball hard on this. And so now they have to, to be able to bring it to a DA that's going to actually prosecute, they need something substantial for a jury that is going to be able to obviously convict the responsible party. So that's what's frustrating. And they need that, the ace up the sleeve, that, the smoking gun that's going to get them. And I'm sure one of these days, again, no such thing as a perfect crime. It might have to be a circumstantial case, but I think I pray. I think it will. I think it'll be down the road, maybe a year. God, I hope not, but I think it will. One of these days, I guarantee we'll be going live. We'll all get a tweet. Our phones will be going nuts, and I guarantee there'll be an arrest. But yeah. I'm not even. Yeah, it's not gonna struggle.
Amount of work has been done and will continue. Some aspects of the investigation are not visible to the public due to the sensitive nature of the case.
But I do think they are.
Continues to ask for the community's help. If you know anything about Sebastian's whereabouts, you're asked to call the Sheriff's Office or the TBI.
Again, I know, and I understand if people think there is corruption. I mean, again, I hate, because I feel like it's such an easy cop-out, and we see it so much now, and I hate to say that. I really think I'm praying that they just dropped the ball just royally. Obviously, they did drop the ball royally. I think, obviously there's another detective working on it.
Those numbers.
Even though obviously Sheriff Craddock's still there, but again, it does need to be pushed up to the federal level, and these guys can F off.
Can be found on our website at WKRN.com. Live in Gallatin, Caitlin Quisenberry, News 2.
Okay. Let's just pull out just common sense, right? And I hope to God some of the people on the other side are watching, because let's just do common sense, right? Common sense. Occam's razor, right? Occam's razor and common sense. Who has the bigger motive out of the two factions, right? We got the mom and the idiot. Well, two idiots, and then we got this poor grieving father. All right, let's just go over some of the stuff. Thank you, guys. I love, yes, happy 4th of July. I know we're getting more people in here. Please hit that like button. God bless you guys. If you're just coming in, you are going to get Snarky Chris. It's once in a great while when I do get snarky, but this case, people have been asking about it for me to cover it. Of course, there's not really a lot to go over. There is some stuff with At Night that was released, I think, on July 2nd. Of course, July 2nd that Koberger, so of course, obviously that was a big day with the Brian Koberger, he was pleading guilty, so I completely missed that they had put something out. It is kind of interesting. We will look at that. All right, let's just break this down, right? And correct me if I'm wrong in this, but I'm pretty sure he had Sebastian every other weekend. Let me know if I'm wrong in chat, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was, right? He only had Sebastian, if I recall, every other weekend, right? So that means he literally has him a few days a month, right? Only Snark will do in this case. Yes, it does, because again, it comes down to. I never claimed to be an expert with working with families. I've just had some experience, and this experience that I've had, the genuine, mothers, the parents that are desperate to find answers for their children. There's only one person that has shown that in this case, while the other side has not even come close. And anyway, so yeah, people are saying yes. Okay, right. So he only has Sebastian a few days a month. He was working on getting custody, right? Because obviously CPS was involved. And we'll get into that. But was working on getting custody. But unfortunately, the school schedule was being an issue, and that's why. But at the time, if you just scratch that off, he has Sebastian every other weekend. That is not, how is that impeding his life at all? Even though I know he loves, Sebastian, he wants, custody, full custody. But at that time, he only has him a few days a month. How is this kid any inconvenience to Seth Rogers, right? He actually has the best alibi. He's on camera. Oh my God, these people that think Seth had something to do with it. Oh my God, you idiots. You idiots, you frauds. I know I'm going to probably get shit, but I could care less. Idiots. He's on camera. What the hell? Anyway, we'll get more into this. Again, I'm sorry, and I apologize. Yeah, right now it's 7:30 my time. The fireworks haven't gone off yet. It's not quite nighttime yet, but those. I know I've had animals before when fireworks going off. They do not like it. Okay. All right. Let's look at the other side. Okay. We have a mother who had full responsibility of taking care of Sebastian Rogers, who had some, needs as being an autistic child, even though he was high functioning, someone who could play D&D, but still, he was obviously just taking care of a teenager, period. That was her full responsibility, right? So she's got him most of the time, even though, there's some shared custody. She's the one that has him most of the time. Due to an open CPS, allegedly, Crispy could not be around Rogers. Remember, he hadn't been home since February or something like that. So again, we've heard the rumors again, and they've admitted. Even Crispy's admitted that CPS has been involved and screwed up and said oh no, it's just one case that and then he said again we've broken that down. He's basically admitted it. So you literally have a motive where a child is now being an issue with one faction, and we're going to call her Kit Kat. Kit Kat has no real alibi that can be verified that I know of. Right? So here you go. You got a CPS allegedly involved where Chris can't be home when Sebastian's there, who is there most of the time because he's only going to his father's every other weekend, right? So who, out of the two factions, who is Sebastian being a bigger inconvenience? And then you know what I mean. Obviously, this poor child and the father, but as a motive, right? Because he's literally driving a wedge between them. Seth was going to get custody, but obviously there were school issues. I think this is where they just I think, because, we heard that, the year before he went missing, that, he was trying to get him enrolled in school, and unfortunately they were backed out. They were, he couldn't get him in that year or whatever. And so anyways, it was going to be postponed. And so it was going to take much longer until Seth could actually get custody. So now you literally have Crispy, who can't be home most of the time with Katie, right? So now you're driving a wedge between these two, right? Motive. And again, who really has the burden with Sebastian Rogers? Seth only sees Rogers a few days a month. Let's just say Seth doesn't want anything to do with Rogers. All he has to say is I don't want my a few weekends rights anymore. You know what? Have full custody. I'll pay child support. I just want to do my thing, move on. I don't want nothing to do with my son anymore. Right? That's all he would have to do. Why would he go out of his way to disappear his child? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. These people on the other side, you idiots. How does this make any sense? A father who only sees the child a few days a month and could just say, fuck it. You know what? I'm done with Sebastian Rogers. I'm going to pay child support. I don't want it. I don't want to deal with him. Yeah, that's it. Why would he go out of his way to disappear his son? He could just make it make sense. You guys are, oh God. Am I wrong? That's all he'd have to do is just say fuck it. These few days a month are just too much. I can't handle them. You know what? You take full custody, and I'll pay child support, and you know what? I'm gonna move on. Holy hell! He has an alibi, and these people that go after Seth, it just, holy shit! I can't get behind. It irritates the shit out of me. Oh, man, I didn't know. When did Seth move to Tennessee? Am I on new meds? No, I'm not. Well, actually, no, I'm not on any new meds. I did take some temporary meds for stomach issues, but no meds like that. And I'm not off meds either, but holy shit. Is it that hard to think that that's they didn't want to, she didn't want to wait. Clearly CPS is involved. Crispy can't be around Sebastian, and the school thing wasn't working out. It was going to be postponed. And so it's you know what? I think Katie's, Kit Kat snapped. And again, so you have, then let's look at the actions, right? So let's look at the actions since that. Distemper. Yeah. No, I asked people if they wanted Snarky Chris tonight just because it's 4th of July. And, I try to stay humble on all this, but this case really ekes the ever-living shit out of me because, again, I have spoken to families that are not, indirectly involved. They're just, neighbors, and their lives have been torn apart. right? But I've got much more. Again, I'm sure Crispy's probably watching. Again, why? What else why go look for Sebastian, right? When trolling YouTube, I'm sure he'll find answers for Sebastian Rogers, right? Trolling through YouTube. I'm sure he'll eventually get answers, right? These people, holy shit. Thank you, Jazz, so much. God bless you. Thank you so much for the $4.99. You are so sweet. So Peggy's saying, yeah, oh God, you can hear it in his damn voice. Oh God, like I said, for those that missed the first part, I mean, when I play that part with Seth talking, it nearly brings me to tears because it is just like you can hear it in his voice. That is, you can't make that shit. You just can't. Oh my God. Anyway, and I'll play it at the end if you missed it. But the crackling in his voice, you could that is raw emotion. So again, let's look at what the two factions have been doing, right? So Crispy spends all his time trolling on YouTube, right? Because that's going to lead to finding Sebastian, right? Screw actually going out and physically searching, right? Because the whole time they've been there saying, oh, he ran off, right? But, fuck it. We're not going to go look, right? Of course, they did interviews in the beginning, and then, sorry, got a frog in my throat. They waited, on the anniversary, did a couple of interviews, right? Just to kind of make an appearance. And then a TV special, with the one where they had, which of course it was really short, and they didn't let them inside the home, which is so like, oh my God, how many red flags towards these people do you got to show before you're like, God, I think these people had something to do with it or know something. Jesus. Oh, thank you, Hobo's Life. Yeah, happy 4th to everybody. I appreciate that. Marie, thank you so much for $4.99. Thank you so much, sweetheart. So, okay, so that's what they've done, right? That's, again, yeah. They did some interviews, and then Crispy's been just trolling YouTube the whole time, which, again, if that isn't the biggest red flag, because I'm sure he's worried, about something coming out, just always kind of keeping an eye, see if anything gets, and I know that they were, maybe, I know I was being watched for a while because, I had connections, and of course, obviously I was able to obtain footage, again, because that took a long time because, again, I built a great relationship with sources, and I would never burn those bridges, ever, ever, ever. And that has taken a long time to get, that footage of Katie and the 3 a.m. cars. And I'll tell you, I'll share a couple of big things. Well, not big things, but I'll share some things I've never talked about before. Because it's just, at this point, it's like, fuck it. Right? So I apologize. Again, tuning in, you're getting snarky Chris tonight. It's 4th of July. The other side, go fuck yourselves. Sorry. If they believed he wandered off, why haven't we heard about them searching? So this is why I'm so pissed off, because this past month is those that have been involved when I was with Aiden Clune and working with his mother, with the drone that everybody helped get. I flew, God, that whole entire valley. And then, we went back to the beginning in that case. And anyway, long story short, 3 years later, the mother, we just got again. I would have been out there again May and June, May especially, but June. My stomach issues were so bad, and it broke me because how much work has been involved in the Aiden Clune. But anyway, so in June, I was helping them get stuff together, or actually it was May and June really. With drone footage, because I had so much drone footage. I had Dropbox and everything. Anyway, helping her, because again, Usually with her case, since it's such a rough area that kid went missing. I'm sorry, I'm talking about Inclune for a second. And that area they went missing, because of the elevation, it's tough. You can't like go in like spring because of the elevation, there's still like snow up there, and it'd just be like nearly not impossible, but more or less like it would just, because there'd be snow on the ground. Like you're trying to find, again, if he's likely out there, he's probably bones and clothing or whatever's left, sadly. And how if you're, it's kind of hard when you got snow on the ground. So she has to go out there late May, June, and she go up all the way until like August, September, and then it's kind of, it just depends, maybe October a little bit, but then because of the elevation and late fall, it starts to, or even early fall really, it starts to really rain a lot. And again, so long story short, I just worked with the mother who has a child that's been missing for 3 years and literally had to go, across state, more or less, almost 2 states, to go search. Again, she's not made of money. There has been other teams that have been working out cadaver dogs. Again, have you heard anything about them searching, right? Remember, there's the one with Crispy saying, well, yeah, we're not gonna ask anybody to help search. We're if you want to do that independently, be careful, but we don't want to do that. But again, I wish I had the clip. I know I have the clip somewhere. I know most of you know what I'm talking about, but he makes an excuse, and I could tell like the way he talks, saying that, oh, there's legalities in it, and the second he said legalities, I'm like, fuck yourself. You're an idiot. You're not searching. The second you're bringing up, oh, there might be legal issues if we bring in independent volunteers. People have been searching with volunteers for fucking ever, right? There's, what you're getting into, and who are they supposed to sue? Like if they get hurt, like, and of course people do, and it is dependent on the terrain. Like of course the search that I've been involved with, it's been rough. I've twisted some ankles. I've fallen. I've nearly killed myself because of dehydration. But again, I know what I'm getting into. Usually you have somebody that knows what has some idea. And again, holy hell, there's a guy that knows a lot about searching. Again, and we'll get into him. But you could easily hire somebody that knows about, bringing in volunteers. Again, the second he said, oh, the legalities and just the excuses Crispy was making up in that clip, I wish I had it right now to play it, because it's just, it infuriated the hell out of me, because I'm like, these guys are not searching. These guys, oh my God. Sorry. Thank you to everybody coming in. Again, I apologize. You are getting snarky, Chris. It's once in a great while. Again, I like to have my humble values, but this case just pisses me off. All right. So let's think about this, right? This is Fish Sticks, right? Most of you guys know who Fish Sticks is. If you don't know who Fish Sticks is a guy, depending on how you feel about him. Again, I had some respect for him until he got involved in this case, and then what he tried to do to that neighbor, trying to throw her and her children, literally trying to get a mother's child, like, oh my God, in trouble, like literally could have gotten him murdered, in my opinion, for the shit he said on a podcast. Oh, well, was it in the podcast when he said that? I can't remember. Anyway, but you guys know what I'm talking about. In the interview, one of the interviews. I could not believe it. So, but before that, this guy is seasoned. He is, despite how, whatever you think, and again, he can go fuck himself, but he is and has a record. He has found missing people. For those that don't remember, just before I started covering Sebastian again, because, I covered it in the beginning, and then it just kind of, I just, there wasn't much going on, in my opinion. before it kind of got heated up again, there was that Hannah, was it Kobayashi? I forget her last name. I'm sorry if I spelled it or pronounced it wrong. But the girl from California, where was she originally from? She went to California and then ended up going into Mexico. And then remember her father was looking for her and then actually ended up taking his life, which, oh my God. And then come to find out she's fine in Mexico. And he was right there. He is a seasoned con artist. He is. But again, at the end of the day, he can go F himself. But at the end of the day, he is seasoned. Right? And he does go out looking for the missing. But again, I can never forgive him for what he did in this case, because it was clear as day what he was trying to do, and it just, it's disgusting. But think about, but there's a reason why I'm saying he's seasoned, right? And he's found people, because you got to keep that in mind. That is a big thing when it comes to the Sebastian Rogers case, right? So they do have a seasoned guy, right? So what does he do, right? You got a seasoned fish stick, right? That has found people. He has, whether you hate him or not. Again, I effing hate him. I gotta watch my app bombs. I don't want to get demonetized. What did he do in the Sebastian Rogers case? Oh, that's right. Let's make him a PR agent. Let's just put him on Twitter every other hour to put out a tweet, putting a some kind of scenario out, controlling a narrative, right? And then trying to get this footage, and I've heard some really shady shit that he allegedly did, one involving the Texas Roadhouse footage. Like, I heard that allegedly Kit Kat and fish sticks. I wonder if those would go well together. Anyway, Kit Kat and fish sticks allegedly went to Texas Roadhouse because they got wind that a certain group was going to get footage from the Texas Roadhouse, and apparently there was a scene that happened there on fish stick side. Again, I have to say allegedly, but I've heard it from a couple of sources that, they made a scene. And let's just say Texas Roadhouse was not happy. And why in the hell? If you're just out there to get answers, why would you be worried about transparency? Transparency is the biggest thing in any case, right? That is why a lot of people like the independent journalists these days, right? A lot of people are going to YouTube for their news. They want that. They don't want that news that has, an agenda for, the right or the left side, and again, it don't matter about the sides, but you know what I'm saying, right? There's going to be one side or the other, maybe a little bit in between, but, sorry, I gotta stop reading chat because it's going to make me laugh. But again, you have a seasoned person that has found the missing, no matter how you feel. What does he do? He's a PR agent. He's an effing PR agent in this case. You have a guy who is seasoned, but he is a PR agent. He is on fucking Twitter every other hour putting out a tweet, putting out some BS, and holy hell. Again, just for the 4th of July, snarky Chris. What did we get from him at the end of the day, right? If he's all about transparency and finding the missing, what did he help with, right? At the end of the day, I forget how many months. If somebody knows in chat, I forget the exact months he was involved. 6-8 months, somewhere around in there. God, it's been a while, so I apologize. I'm sure somebody probably knows a lot more. But again, 6+ months. What did we gain from him, right? He's a seasoned person. I've seen his work, right? Again, no matter how you feel about him, he can go F it off. Again. But he is a seasoned PI. But no, you use him as a PR agent. Go F yourselves, man. On the people on the other side. I love you guys in the chat. God almighty. Yeah, I found all those videos so he could, and again, of course, that's what he was mainly hired. Oh my God, yep, that's what he was hired for. That and PR. He was there to get people, and then of course when the one neighbor didn't want to cooperate, who didn't even have footage, but she just didn't want to do an interview because she knew he was a shady piece of shit. And what did he do? He turned on her and said, "Oh, we've got footage of her child, wandering around a car." And then we find out towards the anniversary, these assholes literally show a guy that's walking his effing dog. Again, obviously the quality is shit, but it's clear the guy comes out of his house and it's him walking the dog and walking back. There's just one person in the video from one side, coming out of the house, walking his dog, and then his dog, it looks like his dog kind of like darts off and then he kind of runs. And remember, he's like, "Oh, well, I think, Sebastian was hiding." And there's nothing like that in the video. Go off, F off, fish sticks. Such a fraud. But anyway, he is still seasoned. Again, he can F off, but, yeah, it's, again, the second, because you guys know, I got before they showed all the footage, because remember, because I worked on my sources, I have been very protective, and I would never put anything out without their permission. And I've worked so hard and so long to build their trust. And, they shared footage with me. It got, a little bit of filtered. And, of course, I've shared most of that with you guys. There's some stuff that really it's nothing like, just like I haven't shown like extended clips, but I've shown you like most of it, right? But anyway, no, I got the full clip, I don't know if it's a full clip, but an extended clip, even more before the news had it. And so I was looking at this, and I'm like, holy shit, it's just the guy walking a dog. And what I was trying to get to is, she's like, "Oh, yeah, I know that house, because they live pretty close by. They know that person, and they know," she's like, "Oh, yeah, he has a small dog." And so that's why you can't really see, like you see something darting, for those that know what I'm talking about, you can see something darting, and I think I do have the footage in here. You see something dart, it's really faint. Just a few frames, you see something dart off, and then the subject moves back. I think either maybe he had it on the, one of those extender leashes, and it just kind of zipped off for a bit. And then she even goes on to tell me, yeah, he usually walks the dog about halfway down Kellen and then comes back up. Literally what you see in the video. F off. You get God. And then anyway. Look at this guy here. This guy is a stud. This is Silver's on the scene. Has spent more time searching for Sebastian Rogers than Kit Kat and Crispy. Holy shit. And if anybody doesn't know who this guy is, he is a legend. I love this guy. He has so much passion and heart. And if you want to, if you haven't, please go subscribe to his channel. He deserves it. This guy, he doesn't even live in Tennessee. I think he lives in Georgia. And he goes out, drives all the way to Tennessee, and spends like a weekend or something like that. I'm not sure the time. I think at the very least a weekend out there searching. And he's gone all over. Oh my God, this guy is a hero. I know there's probably others, but my God, I would be privileged to be a part of Silver's family. To see the passion that he has been, looking for Sebastian Rogers. Has video. Shows the places that he's been to. Because that's very important. Because, again, that's the other thing. That's why I kind of wish I would grab Crispy's, his I don't know, maybe I could find it. I've got so many videos on this case, but when Crispy's talking about, the problems of having a search and all that, he's like, well, if you can do it independently and stuff, but just be careful, whatever. But yeah, we're not going to do that because of the legalities and stuff. But when he said that, it's like, you're an idiot. This is one of the biggest cases, now it's kind of filtering, but at the time, it's pretty big. If you ask for people's help to go volunteer search, I guarantee you get, 100 people easily, I don't know, give or take, maybe, I don't know, that might be exaggerated because, dependent, but you would get a lot of people. And that would be very important. Why? Because if you're going to start the search over, which if he did run off, that would be, you would start from the beginning, you would start grid searching, and you would use an app. I've told you guys this one thing called Topo is an app. And it's basically a GPS app. And again, the people that searched for Sebastian Rogers, the map that they showed, that's enormous. It's literally one of the biggest searches that's been conducted for a missing child in a long time, especially in that particular state. I mean, the search and the ground that they covered, I remember I was looking this up on Twitter, Grok, because I was trying to see, some of the biggest searches in the U.S. It's up there as far as the area that was searched. Holy shit. Now, of course, we've seen cases where, a child goes missing and people search, and then somebody comes along, a jogger, a hiker, and they'll find them right where people have searched. It happens, but I don't think this is the case. Lives in a different state. Again, this is just a small sample. Again, I have his link to his channel in the description of this live show. Please go subscribe to him. God bless him. He's still out there, still putting out videos, and he's gone all over. And again, never met Sebastian Rogers, but he has shown more passion than his own mother. That is just wild. That just blows my mind. The people on the other side that could, oh God, I'll get a migraine thinking about it. I can't. Misbehave. Thank you so much for the, oh God, I forget the NOK. Let me know. God, I forget what country that is, but thank you for the 100. God bless you. I think that equals to about 10 American dollars. Sounds like a lot more, but God bless you. If I miss somebody, I think I got everybody. If I miss somebody, I will go back. Okay, I'll do this and then we'll stop and take a break, and I'll read chat for a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me go back here. It took 5 years to arrest Dylan Brandywine's father, and he went on Dr. Phil and lied. God, that name sounds familiar, but I'm not familiar with that case, Karen. But that's interesting. But I like what you're saying because, again, I think sticks across for the Rick. I like fish sticks. Yeah, he was. I had a little bit of respect for him before the Sebastian Rogers case. I know he did some weird shit on Twitter before. But again, love him or hate him, he has found people. Again, and I'm trying to emphasize that because when they bring him in, what did he have to show? When after he, either left or got fired or whatever, what did he have to show? What did he provide the public? Other than just a bunch of BS and narratives that, and then of course, the one that really, there's quite a few, but the one where they're trying to do the recreation of the camera, holy shit, like, That told me, because I know that guy is smart. I don't know about the other crew that were with him. I question their IQ a little bit. Go F yourselves. But I know he's at least all there for the most part. And the fact that they had tried to say that, oh no, this field of view is off. The guy doesn't even, well, I don't know if the guy doesn't even know basic geometry. So I don't know then again, because he's trying to put a field of view, but then when you actually, he says it's like 90 degrees, but it's really like 60, because if it was 90, then you would add the three other 90s and you would get, your 360. But, when I did that, I'm like, well, wait a minute. He says this is 90. Yet when then I try to, recreate that 3 times, we don't get a 360. So that's not 90 degrees because that camera's supposed to have 90 degrees. F off, you guys. Oh my God. They had a perfect opportunity to kind of recreate what I would give to go out there and have permission to go on that, and I'd hate to bother that guy, where the security camera with the 3 a.m. footage. But if I had the opportunity, holy shit, I would do so many experiments and I would do it right, because I know this would probably be a once in a lifetime, but it'd be a huge opportunity and I would take it seriously, right? Because there's a child missing, and you know what? These lights that are moving around at 3 a.m. when he went missing, and a car that, nobody on the other side talks about the car. Have you ever guys noticed that? I don't know, maybe because, again, I can't watch channels that have 8-hour live shows. Again, if you're into that, there's nothing wrong with that. I have ADD. I like to, with my channel, I spend hours building my live show. I don't just go, unless there's like something that's like breaking, I'll just maybe go live. But for the most part, I spend hours putting stuff together because I want to have a cohesive, show for you guys. Because I don't want to, I don't know, in a way, in my opinion, I don't want to half-ass for you guys. Again, I'm not perfect, and I'm not saying this is the right way to do YouTube live shows. Everybody has a preference, and that is fine. I can't do those. I just can't. But anyway, right. They had a chance to do something for a missing child, to get answers, especially when you have an anomaly, not one anomaly, 2 anomalies, along with the 2 anomalies, the lights, the flashlights, the car. Meanwhile, all the time when a child goes missing, if you don't think those are connected, holy hell. I like Snarky Chris. Yeah, I apologize. And again, there's only a few people I'm showing a little bit of frustration to. Again, just a few people. I'm not going to name anybody. Again, I'm trying not to attack. But it's just... all right, so let's look at this clue, and then there's something else we'll look at as well. Okay, let's look at this. All right. The night before Sebastian goes, hours before he goes missing, Mama has Apple Watch on. Here's a photo of her. She has it always on her left hand, the ring hand. Keep that in mind because the next picture will be interesting. So it's hard to see, but it's there. They got a puppy or whatever. But yeah, there's the Apple Watch. Yep. Okay. A few weeks after she goes missing. Now, I know this looks like her right hand, but this is an inverted photo. One way you can tell is that she's got a ring on. And you can actually see where the band was on, right? You can actually kind of see. You can actually see the little indents, right, from the band. No Apple Watch. After he goes missing, if this isn't the biggest red flag ever. Oh, okay. This is 28 days missing. This is somewhere 25 to 28 days missing. Was she? Oh, left hand. She's got and notice it's on the left hand too. Notice that. Maybe that's just comfortable to have stuff on the left hand. I know, because I actually, when I had watch, I would have left hand as well. But notice, no Apple Watch. This is about 28 days after. But I thought it was kind of interesting. This is literally 8 days after he goes missing. Notice this isn't the same band. This looks like just like a black band. And I find it interesting that it's literally right in the area where she has. So this 8 days, and she has this band on, right? Where's the Apple Watch? Where's the Apple Watch? See, I don't know if that, I don't know how much that, with watches right-handed. So I'm right-handed. Oh, is she left-handed? So I'm right-handed, but when I had a watch, it just felt better on my left hand because since I was my right hand's dominant, I'm using it a lot, and I don't want my watch, getting caught on something. So that's why I probably preferred it on my left hand. But again, I'm not sure if that's. But I don't know if she tossed it, but because I've heard rumors that they allegedly pulled data from it, but again, I don't know. But all I know is it's wholly, not suspicious at all that her Apple Watch is now gone. Like holy hell. All right, so we'll stop there. Not for the live, but I mean right there, but. And again, I it's a video that I want to do, and I'll probably do it within the next month. I'm going to do an Apple Watch video, just a short video, not a live, regarding the Apple Watch, and I'm going to get all the photos that I can. Again, there's not a lot, but even almost a year later, she has no Apple Watch on. When she went to court for Bullhorn Betty's thing, you can see her going to court. Now, again, I guess you couldn't wear an Apple Watch in the courtroom. So, but there is photos of them later on, and she doesn't have it. So, again, not suspicious at all. You get rid of the one thing that is tracking your location, and then, of course, they didn't take their phones until 2 weeks after he went missing. They looked at They looked at Seth Rogers. We already went over what idiots they are. Okay. Let's see. What time is it? Okay. It's goddamn. It's already been an hour already. Sandy says she's got the famous twisty on her wrist. Yeah, that one does look like, it's weird. That one that she had on. Yeah, Sandy Kathy, I agree, because again, I'm since I'm using my right hand, I don't want my watch getting caught on something. But again, I cell phones. Anyway, yeah, not suspicious at all. Okay, so this is One World. This is their website. It has a lot of stuff. I'm not going to cover all of it. They put this out, but they say the reward's up to 500K, so $500,000. They go over a lot of stuff in this. If you want, I could put a link to it at the end of the show. Let me Let me write this down if you want to check it out, because you can't. It's weird. You have to get to it because like I tried to get like into the website and you need a password, but there's a couple of interesting things that I want to mention. Right, that has happened. So they say no evidence of a runaway. Independent body language experts who have reviewed extensive. Let me see if I can zoom this in for you guys a little bit. Oh, bear with me. I'm just going to go over a few highlights on this. So they say body language experts reviewed, footage and saw that, didn't indicate that he was going to run away. Surveillance footage captured at 3:10 a.m. Again, if you... Let's see. Just think about the timing of this. Now, I think it started at 3, because think about it's 2:50. The car on the right is the one. Obviously, there was a car that came by. Oops. But on the right here, 2:58. Remember, he's going up Killen, and then he's going to turn back around. We see him come back down at 2. It might be. I think it's 2:59. Think about that. Literally just about to hit the hour of 3 a.m. Right? Yeah. So I think they use the 3:10 because that is kind of what kind of says on the video or on the thing there, timestamp. And remember, for those that may have not heard me say this, one more thing before I get back into this. So anybody that may be worried, and again, and I hope the bastards that are responsible are watching or hear this. They probably heard me say this before. Trying to find where it has the timestamp. Oh, there it is. Okay. Right there. Okay. So remember how the timestamp is stuck, right? Suspiciously, and then fixes itself a day later. Well, I'll just tell those people that are responsible, if that is the case, which I'm pretty sure it is, for those people that are responsible, if they thought that... just in case if they had something to do with the timestamp. Again, it's weird timing. It could have been just a fluke. But it is possible to hack into this. We've done a live show about it. But anyway, for those people that think messing up a timestamp is going to let them get away with it, I'm sorry to inform you, but there's a thing called metadata. Metadata is built in, when you take a video on your cell phone, you take a photo, metadata is imprinted on that. It is there, and that will have the GPS location usually, and it will definitely have the actual time. So even though when this goes to court, not if, but when this goes to court, and they have this video, if my theory is, and again, it's not just my theory, but, part of the abduction is in here. I promise you, the prosecution will be able to pull the metadata, the experts, but the prosecution will be able to use the metadata, say, hey, look, I know it says 3:11 and it's stuck, but as you can see in the metadata, there is the actual time. So, yep. All right. Okay, so I'm not going to go over that part. So there's this one forensic lead overlooked on April 6th of this year. An anonymous tip called the Treehouse Tip was submitted to the Sebastian Rogers tip line, consisting solely of a photo depicting a tent-like hideout with domestic items clearly visible, including boxed water container and a blanket. Critically, the image prominently displayed an email address presenting an immediate forensic lead. Although no metadata such as timestamps, GPS, or device information were embedded in the photo, so that was deliberate, and they say it right here, because that means you would have to take the photo. There'd be some steps you would have to do to get the metadata out. So that is interesting. That is really odd. Now, could it just be a troll? Possibly. This is weird. But yeah, so it says it's likely deliberate to anonymize its origin. The visual content itself provided actionable investigative leads. So that is interesting. Again, it could be nothing, but so they said they obviously submitted this over to all the departments. Now they're saying after submitting this, they didn't hear anything back, and that has been a big issue. I've spoken with many, people close to the case, with Dog's team and another team, and they don't. You send something in, and you rarely get anything back. But that is interesting. Let me know what you guys make of that. Like, it's a tent-like hideout with boxed water and a blanket. So was this like something where he was allegedly being kept at? But like, here's the problem. Like, why would they take a picture of that, right? I don't know. Maybe there's more to it that I just can't think. I'm not thinking outside the box about this. But the fact that they're bringing it up, I don't know. Maybe there's more to it. And that might be, see, Karen, that's the thing right there. Thank you for sharing that, because this is the issue. I do think maybe it's not Sumner County. I do think TBI. I do think there's other agencies that care. There's good people, there's just a few bad apples in any, group of people, right? Or agency, but I think for the most part, there's agencies that really want, this case to be solved. I do think it needs to go to the federal level. Obviously I think FBI is in an assisting mode, as usually, we see in a lot of cases where, FBI comes in to assist. They're not leading the case. They're, unless it's cross state lines, then it's the other way around usually. But yeah, I do think they need to, push this up, right? Okay. So yeah, plea for federal intervention. Sorry, can't speak. So of course, this is just what we were talking about. They've sent letters and stuff that they want FBI Director Kash Patel, Deputy Director Dan Bongino. I probably butchered that. Deputy Director Dan, appointed in March, currently oversees FBI operations. It's about human trafficking and stuff like that. And then it just goes into saying, like, we are urging FBI to have primary oversight, which I totally agree. Also urging Summer Wells case, totally agree with that, because clearly TBI doesn't have a great record, at least, that we've seen in the past few years. Are FBI now fully involved? I think, again, I'm not like inside on that, like, because I don't even think, like, I think they're playing an assisting role, right? So I don't think they can actually. I don't know. Again, that's a little bit above my pay grade, but yeah, it's more of an assisting role, But oh, thank you, Aline. Yeah, it'd be amazing. And again, I'll put this link here. There's a lot. So I go over setting the record straight, facts versus misinformation. Facts. Surveillance footage from a neighbor shows two unidentified individuals with flashlights behind the Rogers home at approximately 3:10 a.m. on February 26th. Let me highlight that one right there. Now, I just want to say this because a lot of people, I think this happened in May, and this is when I was really torn up with my stomach, right? Shelly. Yeah, 1 + 1 = 2 all day, every day. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Shelly. This is a big one. Fact. Now, I know, I think it was in May, mid-May, late May. I love Jennifer Coffindaffer. I think it's very important to have her in this case covering it. Doesn't matter what her views is. It doesn't even matter if her views are completely opposite. Just the fact that she is a former FBI agent that has connections, clearly. She's proven that she has contacts. I think that is so huge. And I'm so grateful that she covers Sebastian Rogers. And, 99% of the stuff I agree with her. The one thing, she did put out a video in May where she kind of talked about, thinking that the lights may not be all what they seem. Yeah, she's so important. So important. I love her to death. God bless her. And we need her. We need her. Because she was former FBI. And she's still covering it. I think she did a live within the week. But I know she did talk about how she's kind of changed her mind about the lights. Again, I don't want to... I saw like 90% of the video. I didn't see it all, so maybe she said some things at the end I could have missed. But it sounded to me like she was using the fact that Seth Rogers had said, yeah, it's a garbage truck. Well, they were all told, and I've said this before, they were all told, both sides, both parties, they were told that those were garbage trucks lights, right? So why would they not, obviously say that? Because that's what they were told. And I told you, one of the neighbors, she had, they started, the neighborhood started talking a little bit. And, one of the neighbors was like, and this is when they were still kind of, I think like the first week or something. And, she looked at the footage and then she had spoken with the, people that knew the person that had the footage and heard, and just kind of knew the area that the camera was pointed. And she was speaking, I can't remember if she was speaking with TBI or Sumner County. I want to say it was TBI, but I could be wrong. It was one of the two. I'm leaning towards TBI. But she was, so they were, doing interviews with the neighborhood. And she's like, look, that's not garbage truck lights. Those are, and literally, she was shut down. She was so upset. So anyway. Yeah. So yes. And I've told you guys this before. And I again, I'm not perfect, but I've told you guys this. 2 separate occasions, people have spoken with the homeowner of this footage. 2 different times. And, I've gone over what they said. They could see the guy jumping over at the end. They said the car was literally across from his mailbox. There's probably a lot. I'd have to kind of like think about it for a minute, but those are the big ones that stuck out to me that was told to me, because like, you could see the person jumping the ditch when the thing's darting back after the car now is gone, and then it was literally between the two homes, right? It was, and so again, that's why it does a little frustrate me a little bit that she's kind of gone back. But again, we need Jennifer. However you feel about her, I love her, and we need her. We need her. It's huge. Oh, look at him. Okay. So I'll send that again. They go over, misinformation, facts, different stuff. Trying to see if there's anything else that's a good one to point out. No, but there is some stuff at the top if you want to check it out, and I'll put a link to that here in chat. All right, we'll just go over a couple more things and then we'll finish up. And again, happy 4th of July for anybody that came in late. If celebrate that. Link to One World. Having trouble sending. Oh no, that's okay. If it, Yeah, and thank you to everybody taking the time, especially on a holiday. For those that celebrate it. To come into the stream. Donna, thank you so much for the $1.99. Let me just, Jules, when you get done venting, and we are totally with you, can we talk about what can we actually do? Oh, God, that's a great question, Jules. That is a great, maybe I'll try to reach out to Seth, see. That's a great question, because you know what? I'm so glad you brought that up, because for those that have been with me a long time, and when I was covering the Dylan Rounds case and out there searching for him, I just go to know, again, this is another where it's like, well, let's look at what this POS has done to look for her child versus Candace Cooley, who got so ticked off of the way that the agency that was involved was handling the case, because they screwed up. They were supposed to. They should have investigated Brenner at the beginning. For those who are familiar with Dylan Rounds, he was murdered, sadly, just 19, and literally, there's literally the closest person to him. There's only a few people that live out in this desert where he was at, trying to build a farm, and where he was last going to, where this guy Brenner was, who was the one that actually killed him. He had warrants out for his arrest, and they interviewed him multiple times, but never looked up his record. They should arrested him on day one and allowed him to get rid of evidence. He was literally seen getting rid of evidence in that case. They effed up hard. They could have gotten answers for Dylan Rounds within months. But they messed up. They screwed up. And so what did she do? She came on my channel and many other channels saying, I don't want this agency. They're not doing shit. I want Weber. I think it was Weber State. I forget the one that. I want to say Elko. I could be wrong. I think it was Elko that was first involved, but and FBI. I think FBI was it FBI. FBI was assisting, because they did come out too. And we'll come full circle. But yeah, Candace Cooley was so outspoken. She was telling people to send emails. I forget to who exactly. I'll have to go back and look at it exactly what she did and how she did it. That is such a great question. But she did. She got Weber State to come in. They took it more seriously. And you know what? Although it took a long time, she got results. So, yeah, that is a great question. Sandy Johnson, just knowing Crispy was staying at Yogi in my town, Horn Lake. Oh, I know. Oh, God. Could you imagine running into this thing right here? Oh, God. Run. God almighty. If this isn't the look of two guilty as F people, I mean, the interview with Nancy Grace is gold. I mean, they look guilty as shit. Holy hell. It looks like they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar big time and were not happy to do this interview. Oh my God, they were so ungrateful. Those ungrateful pieces of shit. Thank you so much, lady. Raw Narratives. Again, I don't like doing snarky this once in a rare occasion because I like to stay humble, but I just want to, you know, it's 4th of July. I'm popping off. I'm going to be a firecracker. Those other groups, they can F off. Yeah. Thank you so much, lady. Justice. God bless you. And Gypsy Girl, thank you so much for gifting a Mob Crew membership. That is so sweet. Yeah, so I will look at, let me write that down. Let me see how she did that. I'm sure I could probably find out. I might be able to contact somebody and see how she got, because she got another agency involved in the case, and holy shit. They took it serious and started getting results. Again, it still ended up taking over a year or more because Brenner just, you know, he's a piece of, you know, he's a piece of POS. How to get. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna take that seriously. I will look again. It might take some time. Find out who she was like getting into. Thanks, YouTuber. Okay. So all right, couple of things. All right. So here's something I want to tell you guys. A couple of things. I hope a certain group is watching. So it's been long enough, and I know this person isn't really involved anymore, but I just want to let you guys know that there was somebody working both sides in this case. So, you know, when there was Fisher and that other group, you know, working alongside, there was somebody in that group, pretty close to him, working both sides. Again, they were one or the other, so do keep that in mind when I say this. So I'm not saying like he was like a spy or they were a spy. But that person was definitely on the fence. But, and did some things that, yeah. Oops. I don't want to burn that bridge. But yeah, I think it's funny. I hope to God some of them are watching because, yeah, this person was on both sides. And I haven't been in contact with him for, oh God, forever. There is going to be a point, maybe soon, that I reach out. I don't know how much information they'll share with me, if they'll share anything with me. But I can guarantee you they were on the fence. So I know, and there was something that they did. There was something that they did that accidentally released some stuff that the other side was absolutely furious with. And it's hilarious. Now, I don't know if it was done intentionally. Again, I don't want to speculate, and but I kind of think it was intentional because, yeah. But anyway, there's something else, and I know people hate when I say, oh, there's things that I know that I can't say, but I will say in a later live show, I've always backed that up. Anybody in the chat that's been with me knows that if I've ever said that, I backed it up, and I will say it in a future live. I can't right now because, again, I don't want to burn a source or a bridge until I have the permission. But there is a couple of, and we're talking some shots in the dark, but there was some information I learned about 2 months ago that made my jaw drop to the floor. And I can't say any more than that because then you'd be like, oh, okay, I kind of know where this is going. But I promise you, I will mention it in a future live. Again, I have to speak with my sources to, because I just, I knew I was going to mention this, but I just, with 4th of July, I didn't want to contact him. And, I feel like I want to speak with that person before I can share that. So, again, because like I said, I built a great rapport with my sources, and they mean the world to me because I do think eventually we'll get answers. Curly OC Diva, that's a great name. Thank you so much for the $4.99. You are a sweetheart. We have missed you, Chris. Don't be gone so long. You bring so much to this case. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I hope, and I swear to God, on my mother's grave, there was a person in their group on both sides. On my mother's grave, God rest her soul. Because I was in contact with them quite a bit in the beginning, but then as things kind of progressed, we didn't speak as much, and yeah. But there's one thing that happened that I'm like, oh my God, I do wonder if this was intentional because they were so pissed off when it happened. Anything else? God, what time is it? Okay, so we got an hour and a half. Let me play this one more time in the beginning. Let me just show you what a real parent looks like that wants theirs. Let me play this one more time because this is a real parent.
At the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, where Sebastian's father made an emotional plea today. Caitlin.
Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers, was deeply frustrated when he spoke with me. He fears the case is going cold.
My son's been missing for 15 months, and they don't care.
Sebastian disappeared in February last year. He was just 15 years old. Initial search efforts involved local police, the TBI, and the FBI. But those physical searches have since shifted to focus on the investigative side. The last press conference on the case was more than a year ago.
I would love to see them actually conducting more searches. I'd like to have some communication on the tips that have come in just with me.
Okay, so again, I know some of those have been here with the beginning. I know I played this at the getting tongue-tied at the start, but I know there's a lot of people that came in after. This is a short clip. This is obviously Seth Rogers. I think this came out about a month ago, somewhere. I think like in June. Look at this. Look at his face, and then there's a point here in about a minute where there's a part that literally almost like cracks, almost makes me cry because it's just so. You can hear the raw emotion in his voice and his tone, his expression, everything. This is a parent.
so that I know that when a tip comes in, I'm not following up on what job they're supposed to do.
Seth says only one detective is actively assigned to the case and that he is often left to chase down the same leads, also sent to law enforcement.
We need more than just one set of eyes on this case, but it all falls on my shoulders to ask people to help find my son. My son means something to me. These people should be doing their job.
In his push for progress, Seth says he's reached out.
Okay, here it is, right here. And I mean, this just kills me. Listen, for anybody who hasn't this, listen to his voice. I know I've said this at the beginning. Just listen to his voice. It is there. That is raw. This is what I've heard from mothers.
Out to lawmakers and is even drafting federal legislation aimed at reforming how child protection agencies and the Amber Alert system handle missing children's cases.
It's a federal oversight law on places like CPS, DCS, the Amber Alert, getting it redone and taking it out of people's hands that don't care about the children.
According to the FBI, an estimated 460,000 children are reported missing in the U.S. every year. Seth says every one of those cases deserves
right here
attention, including Sebastian's.
A parent demands answers. We demand answers because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him. I need him back with me.
Oh my God, like that. Oh, you can hear the. Oh my God, this poor guy, man. It does. Like every time I hear it, I'm gonna like just break out
every
cry.
year. Seth says every one
You
of
can
those
hear him
cases
just, like,
deserves attention,
broken.
including Sebastian's.
A parent demands answers. We demand answers because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him.
Oh God, the way he says, oh my God. That is so hard to hear. Oh, and every time I play it, like I feel like it'll be easier. The more I hear it, it's like you could just hear he is torn. He is torn. And if you missed the beginning, I don't want to rehash everything, but we kind of went over who has the motives. And the one thing I'll just highlight, because again, these people on the other side that think Seth has something to do with it, go F yourselves. I'm sorry. I just don't care. Really, I don't care. This guy has no motive. He has only seen that child a few days a month. And at any point, if he's just sick of Sebastian, right? If he's a burden on him, all he has to say is F it. I don't want to see Sebastian anymore. I'll pay child support. You're going to take, I don't want any more visitations or whatever. I know it's not visitations, partial custody or whatever, how the lingo is for it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, all he has to say is fuck off. I don't want anything to do with Sebastian Rogers. I'll pay child support. That's it. Holy shit. Well, meanwhile, Sebastian Rogers, clearly with the CPS report, that is the multiple CPS reports against Crispy over there, that have now caused it where he can't be home when Katie's home. Holy shit, there's a motive, right? Papa can't come home to his honey because, there's Sebastian kind of wedged, in there, and she has him, 90% out of the month. So that's going to be an issue. And, unfortunately, they were, father was trying to get custody, but it looks like, with the school schedule and everything, and it's backed out, that they are backed up, that, it's going to take another year, whatever, before they can get him, into a school near him or whatever. So, and they just didn't have the patience. Right? Again. Oh my God, these people that throw shade at Seth, you are disgusting. You guys are disgusting. Sorry, but not sorry. I mean, disgusting. I mean, how can you not just common sense and Occam's razor? Holy hell. Again, there is no reason. He could just say, F off, I want nothing to do with him these few days a month, which was not much to see, Sebastian Rogers in the first place. I don't see how much of a burden he is on Seth. He could just say, F off, I'm out of here. Here's my child support. That's it. And he has the motive. I'm sorry. Sorry, God, they'll clip that. He has the actual alibi on camera. Oh, these people that anyway. So yeah, I really hope there is some kind of, he's alive somewhere. There's always that possibility. As time goes on, I do get worried that I always want to stay, positive, but I don't know. I don't know. I think, I don't know. I don't want to say it, but yeah. And then the last thing that I'll just recap, fish sticks, right? They hired fish sticks, who again, he can go F himself, but despite love or hate him, he does have a record. He is seasoned. He has found missing people. You bring him on, what does he do? He becomes a PR agent. He's public relations. He's on Twitter tweeting every other hour, putting out a narrative. And then after all that time that he worked on the case, what do you have to show for it? Right? This is a guy, again, I did have some respect for him before the Sebastian case, but then after what he did in this case, what we talked about many times, F off. But what did he have to show? Except I heard some super shady shit, like the Texas Roadhouse. It is well known that there was some shit that happened because they were mad that, other people were getting the footage, God forbid there be transparency in this case. F off. God almighty. Oh, thank you, Tina. But yeah, I'll look into it. Is Tony still around? I haven't seen Tony for a while. Again, I haven't really followed this case. Obviously there's not really much going on. I'm sure he's probably there when maybe Seth needs him, but again, I really don't know. I don't speak. I've spoken to Tony a couple times. I've spoken with someone with Dog's team a few times, who's a PI, very well respected, but works on other cases. Again, when people think, oh, it's Dog that's doing all this stuff. No, Dog is. It's Dog. They're just using Dog for his name. Obviously he cares, but obviously because of his, he's not a spring chicken anymore. He has a team of PIs that work for him on multiple cases. Obviously this is one of them. And again, and I've spoken with the lady, very lovely lady. Of course, she's got other cases she's working on, but yeah, they have a team. But yeah. Yeah, last time we saw Seth was the, this heartbreaking, thing right here. I hear my phone going off. Oh no. Oh, there it is. Anything else that you guys want me to touch on? I don't want to go over. Ellen, thank you so much for the PayPal. God bless you. Thank you so much for the support. You guys are so sweet. Yeah, you think I've always loved Dog. See, I grew up watching him. I'm sure a lot of you probably were watching him. I adore Dog. I know that some people are split with Dog, but I can tell you, his team is real. Remember, it's really his name that's kind of out there, but he has a team that's working on it, right? So, yeah. Okay, thank you, Lori. Yeah, because there was supposedly like some body parts or something found earlier in a different county in Tennessee. That was actually today. So she says it was Trinity Bostic, not Sebastian Rogers. Thank you for sharing that, because you never know. Yeah, he did some shady stuff. Really did some shady stuff. But I can tell you everything in the lights video. I've gone over this 1,000 times. And I've spent, oh my god, hundreds of hours fucking looking at all these clips. And I know people still send me stuff, and I know 90% of people are just trying to help me. I do get some trolls, and it's hard to decipher between the trolls, because I think there's some people, like some trolls, that will try to send me stuff that's like outrageous, right? That they just blew up something and saying, "Oh, look, this is," it's clearly just holy, like how, that it's BS, right? So it's tough, because I think people I think there's the other side, or just trolls that try to test me to see, like if I'm just going to bite on it, because, I'm not going to just show you guys some BS so I can get, clicks and views. There's no way I'm going to, sell my soul for, for a little bit of money, to clickbait. I can't stand that stuff. But all right, I start here. So it's almost 9:00 my time. I can start to hear the fireworks going off. But yeah, whoever, I forget, I apologize. Someone talked about, what can the community do? I'll see what she did. Maybe I can reach out to Seth, see, like, who can the public write to? Because I've seen it with Candace Cooley, Dylan Rounds. She got another agency involved. Maybe that doesn't mean that's going to happen in every case, and I'm sure it's a lot, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay, I'm just looking. Anything else? Okay, one last thing. All right, guys, so, is there anything else? Do you guys want just a little extra thing that's we'll finish up, but I do have one thing. Who here? Let me grab this real quick. Sorry, God, it's small. Mary says Chris Sebastian went missing on mom's watch. He's handicapped, special needs, but yeah. Arrest mom and Chris, neglect at the minimum. Yeah, thank you, Mary. I get what you're saying. And please don't twist what she said where he says he is handicapped. Obviously, is a little bit autistic, but high functioning. But yeah, he had needs. But yes, thank you so much. God bless you. I just want to know, But yes, I will look into see who, like, if people want to, if I can find out how Candace did it, and who can we write to. Do we need to send letters to the FBI? Whatever. Maybe I can reach out to Seth, see what he has to say about it, and see if maybe, because again, I have seen it done in the Dylan Rounds case. Again, that doesn't mean it will happen in this case, but shit, why not? GT is playing Janine Christie's videos as fact. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean on project. Yeah, but my issues are more with him trying to throw the neighbor under the bus and literally endangering a mother's child that had nothing to do with the case. It is so uncalled for. It's disgusting. He's a pig. Again, yes, he has found people, and he's still out there searching for missing people. I had respect for him before this case. After what he did this case, fuck off. I mean, not to you, but to Fish Sticks. He can go fuck himself. Sorry. Again, Snarky Chris, only today. All right. Who here, before we finish, who here is interested in the pyramids? I know it's just kind of like a random thing. Does anybody like ever watch the nature, not nature, Discovery? Ever been like, ever wondered like what, like who built the pyramids or what the hell the pyramids were for? Because we were all told, in school that these pyramids were, built back in the ancient Egypt dynasty around 3000 BC to, I think it was like 4000 to 1000 BC is the main period time. So again, this is just a little something. Anybody into the pyramids and have ever wondered what were they used for? I know this is so off topic, but I just wanted to kind of end on something because it's the holiday. Jill has been fascinated. Yeah, well, we learned that it was a tomb, right? But yet they've never found a single pharaoh or anybody in these pyramids, right? Yeah, Jen. No one. Yeah, I agree. All right. So I am fascinated. So when I'm not watching true crime and stuff, because I need a break, I am all into Egypt, right? If there's one place I could go, it would be Egypt. It was the aliens. It was the aliens that built them. What do you think they were used for? So I watch videos all the time when I'm not watching true crime, when I have to, flush, kind of flush, all the bad stuff. But I'm telling you guys, I came across the video that my jaw dropped. I know that there's one of the alternate theories. Okay, so what we learned is, yes, they buried pharaohs in there, right? These were built for the pharaohs, so their souls could go, out. Yet not a single pharaoh's ever been found in any of these big pyramids, right? Not a single one. And then the alternate theory, which is a good theory, was that they were power plants, and that makes sense, right? Electricity. Check this out. Do you guys want to see something crazy? You want to see something cool? If you're interested, I will show you something that I had to change my shorts because I was like, I want answers. Like, I've been so fascinated. If there was one place I'd go, it would be Egypt, Cairo. And I came across this guy that literally has the best theory, but not just the theory. He has evidence. You can see the evidence, and it'll blow your mind. You guys ready? I'm not shitting you. Okay. I'm sorry. I just thought for the holidays. I know this is a little off topic. I apologize. I know some people might leave, but I'm telling you guys, this is interesting, and this guy has the proof to back it up. I'm not shitting you. So the one thing that we've always had a problem with because we learned in school about the pyramids and how they allegedly built them, yet even our biggest machinery can't haul these huge 15 to 50 ton, limestone to granite blocks. Yet we learned that, there's like 10 guys dragging these 15-ton blocks through the sand, absolute crazy. They're cutting it to precision, Anyway, yeah, you're going to love this. You are, and there's evidence. So I was going to save this for a members live, but I'll just do the real quick part of it, and I'll show you. And then I'll give you the link so you can check it out. I promise you this will be so worth it. Land of Kim, Red Pyramid. So there's the Red Pyramid. It's about a couple miles away from the main pyramid, right? And I'll put a link to this because I'm only just going to play a little bit because we've been going on. But dude, this is so effing cool. So effing cool.
All right, everyone. Welcome back.
Okay, so this guy, that's funny. He didn't have a background in chemist, but he was always I think he did psychology, but then he was like, you know what? I like chemistry. But he doesn't actually have, but he knows his stuff, right? So he goes, he now lives out there, right? He's been out there for a couple of years. And so, check this out. Let's see, is this the actual video or do I need to find the other one? This one. Oh, is this the one where he does the experiment? Oh, that's a good one, but that's not the one I want. I need him where he's inside the damn thing. Is this one?
All
Sorry.
right. Of these chambers.
It's not finished. Is it this one? Oh, I think it is this one. Okay, let me, this is a different video. It's the same. Okay, one more. Well, hold on. Where's the big one? Or he's in the damn thing. Why isn't the one that... Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's got tons of views too. Okay, you ready for this? And there's literally visual proof of what he's talking about. Here we go. I promise, this is fascinating. Okay, so he's going into the pyramid. So if you don't know, the Red Pyramid, all it has is 3 chambers. All 3 chambers are pretty much set up similarly. So check this out. He is now going into, I think, the second chamber, I believe. Or no, this might be the first chamber. Because if it's the second chamber, I would have had the thing. So he's in the first chamber. Check this shit out. This is so awesome.
Today, after thousands of years, you could fill this chamber with water and it would fill to the top.
So you guys know that a lot of the pyramids have that same, especially like in the Grand Gallery, how the ceiling starts to go thinner and thinner, right? Okay, so look at this. He's in the first chamber, right? Tell you, this is wild.
All right, will you pull my flashlight out, please?
Okay, so look at the walls. We'll get back to this. I'm just gonna highlight this, and I'll do this. I'll probably do it like a members live. This is so awesome because he actually has proof.
All right.
Okay, so listen to this right here, and you can see it as a person who's lived, and anybody that has ever seen like a dry lake bed or where there used to be, a mass of water, and you could see on the rock line where you could see the water level. So in Utah, we had the Lake Bonneville, which covered nearly a good portion of Utah, one of the biggest lakes ever in the States before now it's the Great Salt Lake and it's nothing and it's almost gone. But we see this all the time. I've seen water, like erosion on stuff. Okay, check this out.
So, as explained in episode 156,
this is so
the
cool.
water comes from the inlet shaft
So he's in the first chamber. Remember, there's 3 chambers, and they're all set up similarly with the same roof that's going up. And look, this is an inlet for water.
And it flows into the chamber.
You can see the water level.
And you can see that there is a staining pattern that runs in this direction.
Yeah, and especially on the left side, because I think depending on the lighting, it's a little bit harder to see. That is exactly. But watch the corner.
And then it crashes up into the wall here.
Look at that. Look how it does that. If anybody's filled a container and it swishes back and forth, it does it on this side. So the water's coming in.
Fluid dynamic flow pattern is exactly what we demonstrated in the modeling experiment. Back around.
And then the same thing on the opposite corner, because obviously it would slush. And so you can see the water level, and then watch as he pans right.
We are going to fill the chamber until the connecting shaft has been filled. And you'll notice that the level of this shaft here, going back around.
So you can still see that's the opposite corner there. You can see the water erosion.
As the height of this connecting shaft. Again.
Okay, now check this out. This is where, so you're probably asking, okay, what does this mean? Okay, now let's look up to the ceiling, and this will tell you exactly what this was used for, I believe.
Again, that terminology being very specific. This is a pressure crack. That crack, this is one block here.
So, again, because I don't want to go too long because we've been going along, but I'm going to play just a few highlights. So, basically what he's going to say is, so they filled up to a certain level, right, with the water. They pump in a gas. Now, they're going to make methane, and they're going to turn it into, and we'll explain why the methane. But they're going to use this water level, and you're going to look at the ceiling. You're going to notice something on the ceiling. And they took samples. This is why I'm like, holy shit. Like, somebody actually has, like, legit evidence, and there's science to back this up.
That continues back into the masonry behind this block. We'll talk about these large pieces here in just a moment. The vault.
Okay, look at the ceiling, right? Now, he's going to point something out. Notice you're going to start to see staining. And as it gets higher, you're going to see more staining at the top. And again, I'm just playing some highlights. There's a reason for it.
And this tiered, vaulted chamber, it was designed with very specific physics. That as the volume of the chamber decreases, this is a mechanism that can be utilized to increase temperature and pressure.
So he's going to basically, because I don't want to go too much longer, but he's basically saying, so they funnel in a gas, and then you have the gas that's trapped above the water. Then they start to increase the water level. That creates pressure on the gas, the methane. And what happens is that heats it up, and that's why they have the pyramid. That's why the tapered roof. Right? We've seen these on all the pyramids. And as you notice, if you look as it gets higher, you see that black stuff that's stained. That is from the chemical reactions. And guess what? They've taken samples, and there is carbon something. Again, I'm not a chemist, so I forget all the chemicals. But it's used to create chemicals. And check this out. There's even more.
So we have water filling the chamber here, and gas filling the chamber here. So we are going to raise the water level higher and higher into the reaction vault. And you can see the incredibly dark, nebulous staining in the upper reaction.
Yeah, notice it gets blacker. It's a little bit hard to see. I think he gets closer, but you can see as it gets higher, it gets darker. what's the ammonia? Ammonia. So they try to turn this into ammonia. One of the things that has been widely known and talked about is when people go into the pyramids, they say, God, it smells like pee. It smells like ammonia. This particular pyramid, same thing. You know what they blamed it on? They claimed that it was bats that are flying up in the tops of these pyramids and that they were going to the bathroom, or it was visitors, tourists going in and relieving themselves. But here's the thing. They would notice that there would be certain shafts or certain areas that the ammonia was the strongest, right? Yes, Sasha. Yes. That's yes. That is one of the answers that this pyramid was likely used for.
Vault. And there's some very specific transitions on this staining. It gets super dark right there. And then
okay, so again, I don't want to go too much longer, but again, I know so a lot of people are still here. Is this cool as shit? I'll put this link to this video. This is cool as shit. Like I said, I am a huge pyramid guy. I'm like, I don't believe that the damn tomb thing, like they put pharaohs. It makes zero goddamn sense. It's so, it's so dumb. And this guy comes in. So remember, there's three things, right? So two of them are the same, right? Two of them are the same. I want to say shafts, but that's not the right word. So this is the second area, right? Because there's three areas. They're all built the same, but watch this. So the first two are exactly the same, and they do the same thing. You still have the same staining the water, but on the third one, it actually raises up, and he actually they have to build a ladder because the water filtration. So in the third final chamber, where the ammonia is the strongest, they actually dug and they believe there was an out shaft. But anyway, let me just show you a model. So this is what's cool. So he believes. So here's the perfect example. See right here. So here's what it looks like if you were just had a diagram. So you have two areas are the same. You can see where the water is. They pump in the stuff here. They first make certain compounds. Then they drain the water. It gets flushed into this one. Then it gets again. They then dissolve it into the water, and then they again. It's a process. Then at the final stages, it gets pumps up, and notice this one's higher than the other two. So they built this little ramp to get up in here. This is where the ammonia is the strongest. The pee smell. Ammonia is used in our chemicals. It's used for fertilizer. It's used for a bunch of different stuff. Anyway, there's so much more I would love to get into, but I know I've been so live for a long time. But I'm telling you, this guy believes that the pyramids were being used to make chemicals. And these chemicals were for fertilizer, stuff that you can use to make metals, metal allergies, as I think as they calls it. There's more, but and he even goes into the explanation of, because remember they used limestone, granite. They were quarrying rock from 100+ miles away when they actually had limestone right nearby, but they were pulling, I think, granite, because I think there was mostly limestone, but they did use granite. And there's another thing he even goes into, because I think with the better granite, there's quartzites in them, and these quartzites can contain energy. And yes, cleansing metals. Yep, cleaning metals. There you go. Yes. Oh my God. It's like, holy shit. And he actually has evidence. And again, he's shown where they've taken samples up high where you can see this black staining. And yes, it had the chemicals and remember, even in the Great Pyramid, they said that there was traces of hydrogen. And there's traces of hydrogen in these ones. Again, it's so cool. So cool. So I'll put this link in the chat if you want to check out more. Remember, Susan, it wasn't a desert. So remember, they claim in 3000 AD. Now, I think the Nile River was still there, if I recall. But they believe, because with the Sphinx, the Sphinx has been, they say it was built around the time of the pyramids, but they said because of the water erosion, this is where mainstream, we learned in school that this was back in 3000 AD, yet there was clear evidence of the next pharaoh coming in and claiming somebody else's work. It was well known. Ramses II, one of the most well-known pharaohs, he literally put his name on stuff that had been built by people thousands of years before him and tried to claim it as his own. I mean, it was messed up. Anyway, so I put, did I get the link in there? Shit. Let me put it, oh, no, I didn't. Link to, but yeah, so much, there's so much he's got, and I'll do a members live, and, if you guys want me to cover this, I'm telling you, this guy has the best. Again, I do believe the power plant theory, it could have been used for energy, and he does kind of explain how he believes that because they use certain stone, like certain granite, absorbs energy. Anyway, I don't want to go on longer, but this is amazing. Oh, and the one last thing. Let's see. Does he have the... he has that diagram. Does he have the diagram? Yes. Look at this. So this is how they make ammonia. If in the basic sense, you have 3 chambers, one little bit higher than the other one. Look, 3 chambers. Isn't that cool? This is the same way that they would make the chemical ammonia. The same technique right here. And look, it's the same setup. Again, there's so much more this guy goes over. I know, it is. It is so wild. Copyright striker on Ramsey. Yeah, he was so well known for putting his mark on others people's stuff. But yeah, it's cool. It's not like the most, appealing, like, oh, chemicals, but it's like, oh God, that kind of makes sense. We knew that all these a lot of I think all the pyramids have they have an inlet more or less where they have a tunnel going into, under the ground. Which remember back then, we all think it, as, the pyramids as a desert, but remember, 5,000 years plus, it was the Nile River, and it was much different back then. They do believe, there was a advanced civilization that probably just got wiped out, right? But anyway, really cool. If you're interested in pyramid shit, and that stuff's really cool. Yeah. So I wanted to share that with you. Happy 4th of July to those, celebrate it, and thank you to everybody. And we'll do a members live Sunday. Oh, for the members, if you missed it, I put out stuff. I did a members video for the Brian Koberger thing, and then I also did one for the Patreons, an extended version for the Patreons. But I do want to say a special shout out to my members and patrons for the support. But thank you to everybody. Just if you're here chatting, liking, it means the world. But yes, happy 4th. Baby kiss us up to it. It's cool, huh? I love the pyramid stuff. Refreshing. Yeah, it's cool. Something, it is. It is so fast. I was like, holy shit. And we'll go more over it, because there's more to it. There's more evidence that he showed, like there's a filtration system that he found, anyway, there's so much more. It's so cool. Yes, and prayers to the family in Texas. God, terrible, terrible thing. Yeah, thank you, Sasha. Yeah, sounds like you know your your chemistry. Yeah, the stuff that he goes over, he's like, yeah, there's the stuff that they could have used. It is used, and it's one of the things in our industry that we make the most of as far as chemicals go. Ammonia. It's breaking it down into our cleaning supplies. It's used everywhere. Fertilizer. It's one of the biggest, most sought out things. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Thank you, guys. I'm so glad a lot of people are sticking around. Yeah, it's so awesome. It's so cool. And it makes the most sense. And there's evidence. So, anyway. All right, guys. I'll do a pet outro. We'll get back working into another pet outro. I know people have sent pets. I apologize. I'm behind on my emails. Again, May and June, were really bad stomach-wise. It's, I shouldn't be saying I'm at 100%, but I am feeling better, but there's times where all of a sudden it happens and it can knock me out a day or further. So I do apologize, guys. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you, D. I know we didn't have a lot of mods in here because it's the holidays, but thank you so much. Sue, man, thank you so much for becoming a membership. If anybody I missed, I apologize. Thank you for the donations, support. God bless you guys. Under Your Scars, thank you so much for the 12 months. Don Grimes, I think I missed you there. Thank you so much for the membership. All right, we'll do the outro. God bless you guys. And after bite. Yeah. From what I heard, it can be broken down into so many things. So. All right, we'll do a pet outro, and we will see you guys definitely Sunday for members. I'll probably do a video tomorrow. And again, if you're a member of Patreon, I do have the thing for Brian Koberger. I did a lot of different stuff with it. All right, guys. Much love. I love you guys so much. God bless you guys. All right, hush. Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just picking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Count 'em like the four-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.